morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It's Friday, the 12th of September, 2025. And as expected, the media just keeps on lying and gaslighting and manipulating. You can't believe them anymore, folks.
You won't be trusted anymore.
All right, what a tumultuous couple of days we've had. Anyway, just to get started, welcome to the WTF Reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist. And as always, I'm holding the media's feet to the fire, and you can help me do so by supporting our advertisers. Yes, we only have a couple of them because I'm not in it all for the money. Yeah, we got to pay the bills, but I'm only going to promote products that I know and believe in, and the Wave Watch is one of them. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. Visit our website, TheWTFReports.com, and click on the sponsors page and check out what we've got available. Also, the merch there. If you want to support the broadcast, you can make a donation, get a T-shirt, a baseball cap, a coffee mug, or you can get that T-shirt that we had with the 3 magic words:
bribery, coercion, blackmail.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with, folks. But so anyway, if you support the broadcast, well then please help us out and do some get us some bitnit going on here. All right. Yes, it's been a crazy couple of days, and there are so many people that are putting the puzzle pieces together. And I was just watching the news conference. Of course, they're claiming that they have the shooter, they have the guy. And for some reason, this thing, the BS antenna is wiggling like crazy. This is too easy. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a professional job. And whenever there's going to be some major event, whether it be 9/11 or whether it be the 7/7 bombing or whether they're always going to have, they expect and they basically project conspiracy theories out there. They want all of these people chasing all these rabbit trails and breadcrumbs, et cetera, et cetera. They know it's going to happen, all right? It's sort of part of the plan. But what's going on right now, it's just looking too easy, too convenient, and it just doesn't seem to make sense. I don't believe it in a New York minute. Now, again, I mentioned this yesterday. Now, the powers that be, the globalist agenda out there. Yes, they want their one world government. They want to have, the whole world taking orders from the likes of, the EU and the WHO, et cetera, et cetera. And the only way that they can do that is by bringing down this country. And, of course, there's the global population reduction plan that's in place. And they're doing that very, very efficiently, I must say. But the bottom line here is they can't have their one world government until they destroy the United States, our Constitution, and our Bill of Rights. It's real simple, folks. So how do you suppose they're going to do that? How do you suppose the powers that be, those dark forces, those evil ones, how do you suppose they're going to do that without the spotlight being put on them? Well, I'm here to tell you that the table's been being set for the past decade to pit the right against the left. And it's been done so. They've been doing it through the universities, the liberal agenda, the woke agenda, the DEI, and on the other side, of course, the nationalism, the rise of Christianity. They have been doing this very, very stealthily and very effectively. I mean, look at the division that we've been having now. They've been pitting the whites against the blacks, the Christians against the Muslims, against the Jews, against, the upper class versus the lower class. I mean, we got all these conflicts going on. All these different, quote-unquote, wars going on. We got to have a war. Got to do that. You got a war on poverty, a war on drugs, war, an ethnic war, class war, holy war, racism war, hate, hate, hate. It's all been generated, folks. And so now the powers that be, they couldn't be happier to have the right facing against the left. Yes, the conservative against the liberals. But there's another force at hand, and they're on the sidelines pitting this. They're making us go against each other. Now, Charlie Kirk, rest his soul, and my heart goes out for his wife and his 2 children. And I do have a statement here from Erica Kirk. I'll play that in a little while. But campers, I'm going to ask you to put the puzzle pieces together and look what's happened with Charlie Kirk in the past several months. Now, we all know that he's been a very, very powerful and staunch supporter of Israel for many years. However, in the past couple of months, more and more information has been coming forward because broadcasters and social media commentators, such as yours truly, have been drawing attention to certain things and world events that a lot of people have been ignoring or just haven't been exposed to. And that is that there is one particular force behind the scenes that's been pushing and manipulating our senators, our congressmen, our media, our manufacturing, our pharmaceutical companies. All you have to do is take a look at who is in the position of power in all of those organizations I just mentioned. And Charlie started to notice that. And I'm going to play several clips. I played these yesterday. I'm going to let you go ahead and put the puzzle pieces together and try to figure out what Charlie was trying to tell us. Listen up.
I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government about backlash than actual Israelis do. It's
been so unfair.
You,
they were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Like, I host a person that I moderate the debate of, mind you, right? And I give equal time to Josh Hammer, equal time to a pro-Israel advocate, and my moral character is being put into question. And so I think it's a hyper-paranoid, like, we're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of practice.
It's there's some rule. You can't go there when it comes to Israel.
Well, you and I believe that we're Americans and Americans first, period. End of story. We are citizens of this nation, okay?
That's right.
Israel, we have funded, we have supported, like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions, not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this.
Yeah, okay. That's just one. Now, he mentioned in that audio clip that you just heard, he mentioned Dave Smith, who's another social media influencer. And Charlie was having a conversation with Dave Smith. Here's what Dave Smith had to say. Let's put the puzzle pieces together, folks. You can connect the dots. It's not hard. It's not hard.
Is Israel an ally of the United States?
No.
Do you say Israel is not an ally? That is not an opinion that people hear a lot. Why is that?
They have been constantly pushing America toward more aggressive policies, toward getting in more fights. And just like I always say, if you went out to the bar every single night with your friend, and every night your friend's trying to convince you to get into a fight, and while you're beating a lot of people up, you're also taking a lot of wounds, and you're going to jail, and you're getting in trouble, you got to stop hanging out with that friend. And so I think that, you know what? I also don't believe in welfare, and they shouldn't get another dime of U.S. taxpayer money, and they should not.
Listen to that crowd.
Hold on. Their lobby should register as a foreign
That's a good segue. Finish that.
And they should stop blackmailing our politics.
Got it. So,
that's right. Listen to that crowd. Everybody's putting the puzzle pieces together, and I hope you can too. And for those of you who want to start spewing hate and say, oh, Dave said this and Dave said that. No, I'm here with the audio receipts. I'm just playing it. You decide, okay? Now, here's another clip from Charlie Kirk. Keep putting the puzzle pieces together. You'll figure it out. It's
Jewish
not hard.
donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like, time for you guys to wake up and say no more. Draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me.
Yep. Put the puzzle pieces together, folks. Oh, by the way, if you want to join the conversation, you're welcome to do so. The phone number here is 215-867-8370. 8255. And yeah, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty yesterday. I don't know what happened, but we did get it straightened out. But anyway, hopefully we won't have that problem today. So again, if you want to join the conversation, yeah, open lines Friday. Again, the phone number here is 215-867-8255. And we broadcast live starting at 2:05 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're within that time frame, I mean, right now it would be about 11:15 Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll do the math for the middle time zones. But anyway, if you want to call in, you're welcome to do so. 215-867-8255. Okay, again, I'm encouraging you to do your own thought process and put the puzzle pieces together and ask yourself the question, who benefits from the assassination of Charlie Kirk? All right? Now, again, the powers that be, they want this country to go into a civil war. They want that because then anything goes. Okay, so they're pitting the right versus the left, the conservatives versus the liberals. But there is another force behind the scenes that is directing traffic here. Here's another clip from Charlie.
Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. Now, I don't like generalizations. Not every Jewish person believes that. But it is true, the Anti-Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter. It is true that some of the largest financiers of left-wing anti-white causes have been Jewish Americans. They went all in on woke, and it wasn't just ADL. It was some of the top Jewish organizations in the country that have done that. In fact, we have seen this with the recent retreat of Jewish donations that are no longer going to be administered to colleges, right? Mark Rowan, Leon Copperman. Can we get that full list? It's very powerful. The part of so that's totally true. And by the way, Tucker Carlson reinforces this. So I'm going to it was quite a day on the internet. Tucker Carlson was interviewing Candace Owens. We have Candace Owens coming up next hour. And Tucker Carlson mentions that Jewish Americans have primarily been financing cultural Marxist ideas. We said this, by the way, last week, and people came after us.
We were on top of it.
We actually said it in a different way. We said, I'm glad that Jewish Americans are reconsidering their financing of cultural Marxism. And people misunderstood it intentionally and slandered us as being anti-Semites. But listen to this. Tucker Carlson is completely correct by saying this, that the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in the country.
Now, again, divided we fall. Who's creating the division? Who benefits from all of this? Who could sit on the sidelines and watch these two teams go after each other without getting their hands dirty? Who do you suppose would benefit from all of this? This is not hard to figure out, folks. Not hard at all. And now, like you've been noticing, for those of you who've been listening to this broadcast for a while, and others like it, have you been, quote unquote, noticing? Have you been putting the puzzle pieces together? Do you now understand what they meant when they said history is written by those who hang the heroes? Yeah, history revisionism. Who's been in control of that? Now, you just heard Charlie mention the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. I call them the Anti-Defecation League because they're full of crap. And then, of course, there was the BLM thing that was all kicked off because of the George Floyd issue. Now, we've discussed this in the past. Now it's becoming common knowledge that George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose. The coroner's report said so. He did not have damage to his neck. Derek Chauvin, unfortunately, took the fall for that. But the bottom line here is that the media pushed George Floyd. Now, this guy was a drug dealer. The reason he got busted is because he was trying to pass a counterfeit $20 bill. He had previously held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach. Okay, he was also a porn star, and you can do some search on that. He was known as Big George for an obvious reason. And this is the guy that they wanted to hold up and have statues and have murals and all this and have this. The media did that. The media kicked off the whole BLM thing to create the division, to divide the right from the left. And this has been going on for quite some time. Not just the George Floyd issue, but the gay pride issue, Pride Month. Yeah, who do you suppose was behind that? More division. Okay, then there's the transgender issue. More division. This has been going on for the past 10 years, if not longer. I mean, this whole thing has been directed. It's a dare I say, a conspiracy to create hatred within our country. And meanwhile, the people who have been manipulating the board are in the shadows, and we don't get to look over there. Well, now people are starting to notice. The noticing continues. And now people have been focusing in on AIPAC. Well, they should. Yeah, it's not hard to put it together. I got another clip here from Charlie where he's talking about who wants to take up a sword, who lends themselves more to violence. Here's Charlie again.
At the core of the left, at the core of a liberal, is someone that would use the sword if they had it. They are very violent people at their core. They always have been. They can't debate. They can't have conversation. So they'll resort to these tactics. They're going to do everything they possibly can to try to murder this movement because they can't beat us. So they're going to try to take weapons. And no, we're very aware of that. I'm aware of it. We have to have full-time security. This is not a joke. This is who these people are.
That's right. And again, we're talking about violence. Now, one particular group, of course, I've said it many times on this broadcast that the stench of their hypocrisy curls my nose hairs. And yes, the left, unfortunately, they have been so manipulated, so blatantly gaslit. So I hate to use the word brainwash, but that's exactly what it is. And it's a very severe case. Many of them are suffering from Stockholm Syndrome. It's so bad that you can bring irrefutable, undeniable, pharmaceutical-grade evidence, hard proof, and put it right in their face. And instead of considering it, they slam their eyes closed, plug their ears, and go, ah, la, 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 la. They don't want to hear it. No. Because it would be a blow to their ego. They'd have to demonstrate a bit of humility. And those are virtues that are just absent from a lot of people, and conservatives as well. It's very difficult to undo a very long-held, strong belief system because your ego won't allow it. Your pride won't allow it. Mark Twain said it's always easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled, and those words couldn't be more true. But this is what we're up against, folks. And I have to tell you, this whole thing about the assassination, and I've talked about this many times, George Carlin even talked about assassinations, and you have to ask the question, who benefits?
Assassination. You know what's interesting about assassination? Well, not only does it change those popularity polls in a big fucking hurry, but it's also interesting to notice who it is we assassinate. Did you ever notice who it is? Stop to think of who it is we kill. It's always people who've told us to live together in harmony and try to love one another. Jesus, Gandhi, Lincoln, John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, John Lennon. They all said, try to live together peacefully. Bam! Right in the fucking head.
That's true. History keeps repeating itself. As they say, no good deeds go unpunished. But like I said, more and more people are putting the puzzle pieces together. And I was watching the press conference earlier this morning, and it just seems like everything's coming together too quickly, but it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And by the way, in Utah, there's a very, very low Jewish percentage of the population. And that old guy, I'm having a senior moment. The guy that was first arrested, the older guy, he was balding and gray-haired and everything. Well, guess what denomination he falls into? He was a distraction. Okay, that's the old watch my hand over here. Right after poor Charlie got shot, there was mayhem. And they focused in on this one guy that they were arresting. And the time that they were using towards this old guy, turns out it was just, it was a nothing burger. That gave the real shooter the time to get out of there. Now, let me see. I've got a couple of other things here. Oh, just to back up what I was saying about divided we fall. We can't fall for it, folks. And as much as I detest the extreme liberal left, the woke people, they are victims. They are. They have been basically, molded into this particular belief system by the media. Who's in charge of the media? The noticing continues. As I've said so many times before, if you consume intellectual fecal matter, you end up with stuff for brains. But you know what? Yeah, divided we do fall. And this is all the more reasons why we have to exercise some restraint and realize how this whole thing is being manipulated and directed to benefit who? The noticing continues.
If you want to know the truth behind the Charlie Kirk assassination, you can't turn to the media or to the government. We've been lied to about JFK, MLK, the shooting in Butler, the shooting in Vegas, vaccines, Epstein, and countless other events. So what makes you think that this time around they'll tell us the truth? But let me tell you the indisputable facts. This event was carefully planned. It was a professional marksman that aimed perfectly at the neck, so they wanted to make a gruesome statement that free speech is no longer safe. It's not a coincidence that seconds before he got shot, the trans debate was taking place, and a few days before that, he was raising doubts about the US government being owned by the Jewish lobby. This event is perfect to raise the hate bar between liberals and conservatives. And if, God forbid, something happens to a liberal political figure, then this could lead us into civil war. And it will give the people in power every reason to crack down on free speech and take away our Second Amendment. They want us to fight amongst each other. We have to be smart and see clearly even with all the emotions. Let's not be silenced. Let's not be divided. And like Charlie, let's keep fighting for our values.
That's right. So we can expect in the coming days or weeks, and I wouldn't even say months, I would say within the next week or two, we will most likely see some sort of an attack against a democratic, liberal organization, individual, or something like that. The whole point is to escalate the hostility between the right and the left. And unfortunately, there are people who will fall for it. And I'm reaching out to all the conservatives out here. As much as you're furious about the attack, about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, as much as your blood is boiling, we have to keep cooler heads and understand that we, too, are being manipulated to generate hate towards another group of people. Whether or not they deserve it or not, that's not the issue. The issue is if we erupt into violence, then we are falling right into the plan of those that are working this whole situation from behind the scenes and in the dark. And I'll tell you, I'm not the only one, I'm not the only one who sees it this way. A lot of folks are putting the puzzle pieces together already and saying, wait a second, something stinks about this whole situation. There's something else going on. And all the puzzle pieces are fitting together too nicely right now, too quickly. What's going on with Kash Patel and the FBI? I believe that they have been, well, shall we say, they're being manipulated. They're being controlled. I don't know. I can't prove that. I suppose that makes me a conspiracy theorist, but I haven't gotten any good reason to believe them. It's I will know ye by your deeds, not your words, or something like that. But Michael Savage, and I used to listen to Michael Savage a long time ago, but and he hasn't been quite as high profile as he used to be, but I'll tell you, he went on a rant yesterday. I had to edit the heck out of this clip. Listen to Michael Savage go off, and I think he's onto something. Listen up.
I know I shouldn't do this. I'm risking an awful lot to go up against this FBI, the MAGA FBI. Something's very wrong with what I just heard. I mean, I watched it. I was hoping that they had caught the bastard who shot Charlie. So we saw a video of a person jumping off the roof. It looked very legitimate to me. However, there was no rifle in his hand. Now, the Mauser does not break down very easily, incidentally, for those of you who know weapons. Something's wrong with the whole thing. They're trying to claim he removed the barrel from the Mauser and fit the receiver and stock in his backpack and barrel in his pants leg all in 2 seconds? It is not easy to remove a Mauser barrel or index it after reinstalling and remain accurate. We are not hearing or seeing reality. And by the way, the photo of the rifle allegedly left in the woods has the barrel installed. So we're supposed to believe a guy is on the run after killing Charlie Kirk, and he pauses in the woods to reinstall a barrel, and then he leaves it for us to find, the FBI to find. I don't believe a word of it. I shouldn't do this. I know I'm putting myself at risk, but I can't take it anymore. I can't take the bullshit from this fucking government. It's lying to us. Something's wrong. Something's so wrong. It's sickening. Look at this idiot. They found the rifle and they're getting the prints. Are you stupid? Are you that stupid? Are you that dumb? The man jumps off the roof. There's no rifle there. Oh, it's in his backpack. I just told you, moron, that this rifle doesn't break down that easily. And then it's supposed to be reassembled while he's on the run. Wait, I'll stop now and reassemble it and leave it in the woods in a box wrapped in a towel. He left breadcrumbs. Oh, and the trans stuff on the cartridges. Bullshit. Something is wrong with this whole fucking picture. I am persona non grata in this White House. I will tell you right now, I flew with Donald Trump in Air Force One. I consider him close to me. I have not been able to get near him since this administration took hold. They have thrown me out. They've castigated, thrown me in the desert. They don't want me near them. They don't want real truth tellers near them. Sean Hannity immediately, that pimp scumbag, goes on the air and repeats the government lie, that lousy son of a bitch. Sean Hannity, you've always been a whore in a brothel. You have hit a new low, Hannity, and something is wrong. Somebody killed this young guy, and everyone is asking who done it, and we're supposed to believe they think we're this stupid? So Kash Patel is there, he doesn't say a word, and Donald Trump's in the Yankee Stadium? What the hell is going on here? I'm just an American citizen who's been in the business of observing since I'm 18 years old, and I don't buy one word of this narrative, not one single word.
And, well, you shouldn't. And, there weren't too many occasions way back when I used to listen to Michael Savage. There weren't too many occasions I would really agree with him on a lot of points. But I got to tell you, I think that he has some righteous indignation going on right now. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code RedPill101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get More Tank by visiting our website. Yeah, the WTFreports.com. Click on the sponsors page, and that will take you down to a window where you can find out all about the Get More Tank formula. Now, this is not a fuel additive, it's a fuel catalyst. Big difference. Your fuel burns at a lower temperature, which means it's going to blow out and clean up your engine. And what happens within the first tank, you'll notice that you have more power. And then after a couple more tanks, you start to see your mileage improve. Now, by the time you go through your 5 tablets, you get that for $20 when you use the promo code RedPill101. By the time you're done with those five tablets, 5 tanks of gas, you're going to see anywhere between 15 and 20% better mileage, depending upon your make, model, and year of vehicle and your driving habits. But the bottom line here is if you spend $20, you get 5 tablets, and by the 5th tank, you got a free tank of gas. Do the math. Let me see, $20. Can you get a tank of gas for $20? No. Okay. That's why this stuff is so good. So, hey, check it out, folks. I'm sure you'll be happy with it. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and get more tank. You'll be glad that you did. It's a win-win situation. All right, again, the phone number here, if you want to join me, it's wide open, 215-867-8255. Again, 215-867-8255 if you want to join the broadcast here for Open Lines Friday. Now, I got a couple other things I want to get to here. Like I said, there are more and more people here that are looking at this situation saying, wait a minute, there's something very fishy about this. This stinks to high heaven, this whole situation. And it's not hard. And like I said, everything, according to what they're throwing at us on the news networks and with the press conferences, it's all coming together too easily. And it doesn't make sense. Now, Ryan Matta, I tell you, he's doing some very serious, deep research on this subject. And he's been doing some investigation into the video cameras that are placed all over the campus in Utah. Okay? And they determine how many cameras that they're going to have on a campus is determined by how many students in the population. All right? So if you've got 10,000 students, that would require so many cameras. If you got 20 or 30 or 40, the number of cameras go up. But Ryan Matta's putting the whole thing together here, folks. Again, we have to think outside the cage. If the truth is never easy to find, how easy is it to watch your TV? Obviously. So if the truth is never easy to find, and it's that easy to get your info from your networks, how much truth could there be? You got to think outside of the cage. Here's Ryan Matta, and he's opening up a big can of worms.
So the more I start to really go down this rabbit hole, if you see James Lee video, all signs are pointing to Mossad and Israel assassinating Charlie Kirk. So you take a step back and you go, what does that mean for America? What that means is that Stu Peters, Nick Fuentes, Dan Balzerian, Jake Shields, Ian Carroll, myself, everybody that's went out on a limb and had our lives basically destroyed because we decided to speak out against this genocidal asshole, we were right. But what does that mean if they were behind this? We are talking about catastrophic, and this is how Israel gets away with this shit every time. Because the ramifications are going to be so catastrophic. You are talking about the removal of every dual citizen politician in Washington, D.C. being an accessory to murder.
I'm going to pause it right there. That has to be done anyway. Anybody who is working in the halls of Congress should not have dual citizenship. Period. Done deal. Finished business. If you're an elected official, you are elected to serve this country, not some other country. And that's why my blood boils when Stu Peters sent one of his reporters into the halls of Congress and they were asking a simple question of your elected officials and your congresspersons. Is it Israel first or America first? If it was America first, they would stand proudly and stick their chest out and say, it's America first. How could you possibly ask me that question? But they don't do that. Say, is it America first or Israel first? They turn and scurry away. A non-answer is an answer. They're not serving the interests of the American people. They are under the thumb of a foreign entity. And how do you suppose that foreign entity gains control over our elected officials?
Bribery, coercion, blackmail.
That's right. And it's been going on for a long time. I'm going to let Ryan Matta continue. Here he is.
We've been shouting. We've been warning you, America. All of the red flags were there. JFK, RFK, the USS Liberty, the Beirut bombing. All of them were these assholes. And now Charlie Kirk is dead because of Kash Patel and Bongino and Pam Bondi failed to take the evidence that we've been giving them and hold these dickheads accountable. And now Charlie Kirk is murdered. So how is that going to happen? How is President Trump, the most pro-Israel president, the first Jewish president, according to Mark Levine, going to hold this asshole accountable for murdering, assassinating Charlie Kirk? You think the American people are going to let this one go? You think your video, your surveillance footage from 200 yards away is going to cut it this time? I don't think so. Charlie Kirk murder was a turning point in American history, and it's going to lead to every single dual citizen IDF soldier being ran the fuck out of our country. You can get the fuck out right fucking now. Every single one of them is a potential assassin coming after you, coming after me, coming after Nick, coming after Stu, coming after every gosh damn one of us. Who's next? And then who are you going to blame? You're going to blame Kash Patel next time? Who else has to take a bullet to the jugular before these assholes are kicked out of our gosh damn country?
And I got to apologize. A couple of bad words got in there. I did get the F-bombs out of there, but forgot to go back and get the other ones out. I hope you understand. But there's some righteous indignation going on here. And again, it's not hard to figure out. Now, there's another audio clip that I was going to prepare. I just didn't get it done for today's show. Ryan Matta did some deep diving into the video cameras. As I was just mentioning, on these campuses, the number of video cameras that are stationed all over the place, inside and outside, is determined by how many students that there are. And according to the number of that university, there's 45,000 students that attend that university, which would mean that there would be approximately 2,000 cameras all over the place. And yet the only footage that they've been showing us is from some camera that was across the street, several hundred yards away from the rooftop where the shooter was. Where are the rest of those cameras positioned? And where's the video from those? We're not going to see those, I don't think so. Anyway, we have a caller on the line. Let's go to the phones. Hello, caller. Who do we have, and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Ray in Columbus, Ohio.
Hello, Ray.
I just want to make a hello. I called you one other time. Say, you make such good points. I hate to interrupt you, but the one thing that you mentioned many times is that the Jewish population in America is less than 3% of the population.
Correct.
But what you haven't mentioned, at least I haven't heard it, is that out of that 3%, 50% of America's billionaires are Jewish. And this is the magazine that puts this out every year about billionaires. Mm-hmm. So they're less than 3% of the population, but they're 50% of the billionaires. And just recently I looked at the number, and there's over 500 billionaires. Mm-hmm. So you see the Jewish have like over 250 billionaires, which gives them enormous power to do the things they're doing.
Well, you're absolutely right.
I think people should know that.
Well, yeah, and if they only represent 3%, and I believe it's less than that, I think it's 2.7, 2.8 something. Well, let's say it's 3%. If it's 3% of the population, then take a look at the CEOs and presidents of all the different media organizations, CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, Fox. Look at who owns and who operates these organizations that direct our news media, and take a look at how many of them have that star of Remphan. It's like 95%, something like that. I mean, they're in complete control. Not only the media, but Hollywood. Not only Hollywood, but Big Pharma. Not only Big Pharma, but Big Oil, Big Agra. All of these organizations are being directed by individuals who happen to have that star of Remphan. How did that happen?
Oh, you're absolutely correct. And this has been shown. Even there was a book some years ago in Hollywood, say, so we are, what are you going to do about it? The word that should be getting out there to the people is chutzpah. Chutzpah is like, I spit in your face, and what are you going to do about it? And if you listen to some of these commentators, why they use that. And that's the way Israel is acting. And that really is the way Trump is acting. In other words, it's infected the culture so that many of our people Like, for example, someone will say, well, why did you do that? I did it because I can do it. And also, that chutzpah is a very cowardly thing. You see it with the IDS in their fight. The only fights they go on is when they have an overwhelming force. When they went to into Lebanon and they ran up into a real army, it only lasted a few weeks and they backed off. It's a cowardly thing. When they have the power, then they spit in your face or at your feet or whatever. And
right.
The other thing I want to mention is that what is Bandani and the head of the FBI doing there? Them being on site doesn't make sense. They got direct, perfect communication. The only reason they're there is to control the narrative.
Yes.
Want to make sure, right?
Photo ops, get in front of the cameras. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
I think Savage is great, and he makes very good points. And I've listened to him years ago, too, like you have, and he's very entertaining, and I didn't believe everything he had to say, but he is a good, solid analyst, and I think he's right about that. I'm a veteran from naval intelligence, and so I see a lot of this stuff in the background, and particularly the nuclear weapons. When I was in there with the A-bomb, and the nuclear weapons now are 500 or more times more deadly.
Yes, I know.
So that's why we've got event war. And as you've said, this enemy of ours is trying to get us into war like crazy.
Well, yeah. So I mean, Israel has been, in the past couple of months, they bombed 7 different countries. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I think it was, they bombed a handicapped school in southern Lebanon. I mean, wow. When does it stop? It's just,
that's the chutzpah. I mean, this is their attitude.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do it because we can do it, and we want what we want. It's like having a kid with no upbringing at all and a spoiled brat and want whatever they want. And then there's another thing. I hate to hold you up because your stuff is so good.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Semitism. If you look it up in the dictionary, you have to look and look and look to find it because you run into anti-Semitism all the way.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the definition of Semitism, essentially it says anything Jews want, any policy, any program, any law, anything they want is Semitism. So if you oppose anything they want or do, well, then you're anti-Semitic. So this is why
yeah. It's and they're not even the Semites. We've already established that. It's the Palestinians that are Semites.
You're absolutely right about that. The DNA, I was in DNA testing as a laboratory researcher. And you're right about that, no question. And so I go back to Lenin, and Lenin called the people in Russia under the Soviet Jewish domination as useful idiots.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Israel sees the average American, and particularly the evangelical Zionists, as useful idiots.
Well,
we have our brain in gear.
Up to this point, we have been playing the part. Yes, we are quite useful because we are quite idiotic in some of the things that we do here in this country. Thank you to the education system.
Uninformed and uncaring, and we're not playing our role as a citizen. We should know, and everything you said and everything you're advocating is right on target. And I don't want to interrupt you anymore. Your program's fantastic. I never miss it. In fact, I listen to it a second or third time on Red State Radio.
Oh, so, bless your heart. I appreciate it.
Congratulations and many thanks for all of it. You're serving all of us, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Ray. I appreciate it. God bless you. You have a great weekend. Okay, there you go.
Bye.
Yeah, well, that's the way it is, folks. And I have to tell you, getting back to this issue about poor Charlie Kirk, did you know that they're having memorial services around the world? Spain was having a memorial service, And we can expect more to come because people all over the world, you'd be surprised how many foreign countries, they listen in English because a lot of the movies are in English. A lot of the music is in English. So they all understand English. And they follow U.S. politics very closely because, of course, the United States is the most powerful country on the planet. And if this country is going bat crap crazy, it's going to affect all of them. So they're sitting on the edge of their seats, listening and watching very intently as to what goes on in this country. And they were standing up and taking notice of what Charlie Kirk was doing. And I do want to tell you that there was, let me see, where is it here? Divide. Okay. I think I may have played this clip. Let me see if this is it.
If you want to know the truth behind the Charlie Kirk assassination, you can't turn to the media or to the government. We've been lied to about JFK.
Yeah, okay, I already played that one. I know what it was. It was this clip that I wanted to play. It's heartbreaking. It really is. I
am Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Franzve Kirk. Without Charlie, I don't know how to live. Losing Charlie is like losing the most important support in my life. We were waiting at home for him to finish his event so we could have dinner together. But unexpectedly, what we received was the news of his death. He left me to face everything alone, and no words can describe this heart-wrenching pain, but I know I cannot let grief consume me. Our children are still here, and they need a mother who can hold up the family in the storm. Charlie always taught me to be strong, to believe in the power of faith and love. Now, he can no longer hold my hand, but I can feel his love still protecting us. But I tell myself, I cannot collapse because these two children still need me to protect them. They are the most precious gift Charlie left me. The road ahead will be full of loneliness and trials, but I will go forward with tears and hope. I will do everything I can to raise our children so that they know how great and courageous their father was. I will carry on because this is what Charlie would want to see, and it is also the mission I must bear as a mother.
I wanted to share that with you. That's a message from Erica Kirk. And bless her heart. My prayers go off to her and her family. And I ask for everybody to support her. Anyway, we've got another caller. We've only got a couple of minutes left. So welcome to the broadcast. Who are you and where are you calling from? Don't listen to the... hey, get on your phone.
Yeah, my name's Logan. I'm calling from Eureka, Montana.
Hello, Logan. First-time caller? Listen to your phone. Turn off your computer. Don't listen to the computer. Listen to your phone.
First-time caller.
Oh. Okay, go ahead, Logan.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear. Listen to the phone. Turn off your computer. Logan, are you there? I guess
okay, one moment. Sorry about that.
Okay, for the last time, listen to your phone.
There seems to be a slight delay. Hold on a second. Can you hear me?
Yes, but don't listen to your computer. Listen to the telephone. Listen to the phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, I don't know if you noticed, I actually saw a clip today after they supposedly caught this suspect, this Tyler Robinson. The governor of the state of Utah got on there and was talking about how he showed up to the event at UVU wearing a maroon-colored shirt and arrived in a Dodge Challenger. However, all of these surveillance photos that they have of this guy, well, he's wearing an American flag T-shirt and a gray hoodie. It just seems very fishy. It seems like they can't really get their story straight here.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying we can't believe anything that they're throwing at us, and there's so many reasons why we shouldn't believe it. I was just pointing out the research of Ryan Matta, and he said that there's anywhere between 2,000 and 2,500 cameras all over that campus, including on all of the rooftops. Where are those videos? They're not bringing those out.
Exactly. And I don't know, are we supposed to believe that a 22-year-old kid, who's supposedly involved with Antifa or has interest in Antifa was somehow some expert marksman, able to pull off a shot like that? I mean, that's crazy. I would think that a lot of these Antifa guys would be anti-gun. And the way that he went about setting himself up on the roof, was so tactical. I mean, the camo, the black camo. I have a hard time believing that this isn't somebody that's been highly trained.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and they're also trying, as you pointed out, they're trying to link it to Antifa. And again, this is going to play right into the playbook where they want to pit the right against the left and get the liberals against the conservatives, the Republicans versus the Democrats. And meanwhile, the real perpetrators are on the sidelines orchestrating all this stuff.
For sure. I don't know. To me, the clips I've seen of, Charlie Kirk's most recent, interviews that he'd done with Megyn Kelly and Ben Shapiro, it seems like he was starting to really kind of question his Israeli Jewish rulers, and I don't think they liked it.
Of course not, because Charlie was the number one influencer in this country as far as the conservatives are concerned, and that's the last thing that Israel or the Zionists would want, is to have Charlie focusing in on Zionism and on the Israel control over our elected officials. And that would be a death blow to them if all of a sudden Charlie gets all the younger generation working against the Israeli Zionist regime. So who benefits? It would certainly benefit the Zionists to take him out ASAP. That was the first stop on his new college tour. That's the last thing that they need.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
So anyway, well, listen, Logan, I appreciate the call. I hope you continue to be a listener, spread the word, and next time you call in, listen to the phone. Don't listen to your computer, because there's definitely a delay there. So,
all right. Thanks, Dave. Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you much for the call, Logan. Appreciate it. God bless. Have a good weekend. All right. Oh man, well, that's good. A couple of good callers. And anyway, like I said, I just played a statement from Erica Kirk, and bless her heart. I mean, my prayers go out to her and her family, et cetera, et cetera. And like I said, there are memorials going on all over the world, all over the influence that Charlie Kirk had. Is people don't realize the voice that he had. And I saw a video. And we're almost out of time here. I saw a video yesterday, about somebody had posted that, look at, when you take Charlie's voice down, you're amplifying everything that he said. And that's why I was just playing these clips. Charlie was starting to notice the undue influence that the Israeli Zionist government has over our government. And they couldn't have that. They had to shut that down ASAP. So again, we have to ask the question, who benefits from the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Would it be the conservatives? Of course not. Would it be the liberals? Well, as much as the liberals may have hated Charlie Kirk, and many of them did, it certainly wouldn't help them to be associated with being an assassin to take him out, because they would face the wrath of the overwhelming majority of Americans who are indeed conservative. So it wouldn't benefit the liberal cause to take him out either. So, who benefits? We have to keep asking that question. Keep thinking outside of the cage. Keep putting these puzzle pieces together, because I got to tell you, if we don't figure this out, we're going to be drawn into conflicts that we're not going to benefit from. We have to think outside the very carefully prepared cage. Anyway, that said, that's going to wrap it up with another week. Oh my gosh, what a week it has been. Anyway, my heart goes out to all the folks who are heartbroken right now. And I also, I hope and pray that the dark hearts that are posting all these terrible, hateful posts about Charlie Kirk, I hope and pray that they can figure out how to look in the mirror and change their course, because their lack of humanity has become very obvious, and their comments are destroying the Democratic Party, which I suppose has to happen. All right, that said, the weekend is upon us. God bless you all. Stay safe, stay free, and I'll see you on Monday. God bless you all, and stay in prayer.